try this one more time.
Is that shirt from the Source Awards, Casual?
Is it?
I think it's so. That's like the one, right? With the Source Awards one?
I don't know. I just got this motherfucking some story. So I was like, oh, a Biggie shirt. I don't know.
Yeah. So let me see. Yeah. So I would say right now we are live. So that's cool. We got the little technical difficulties. You know what I'm saying? Straightened out. So what's up, Mr. Scippio?
Yo.
What's up? So now Splendid Radio on Pharcyde TV. We getting it worked out. Got Jeremy Scippio, host, hooking up camera angles. we got Mike Relm, technical guru. You know what I'm saying? He can work it out. And then we have Casual hieroglyphics, lyrical guru. You know what I'm saying? So when we had the dry run before the little technicals whatnot, I was saying how it's a trip that I had handed Imani some shirts back in like 90 or 91, my Smooch Cat shirts, like my first little entrepreneurial clothing, you know, whatever. And Imani took a trip up to the Bay. And then the next thing I know, Casual's rocking, and he remembered the color, a red Smooch Cat shirt in this video. And I remember how it just kind of blew my mind because at that time, I really didn't understand the gravity of what the Pharcyde was. I knew they were my homeboys. I knew they made music. I knew that there was some people that liked them around LA and whatnot, but I didn't understand that they were part of this hip hop family that like went to the Bay and went to the New York, or it spread to the Bay and spread to New York. So it's a trip how from that t-shirt 25 years ago, Casual and I have kind of remained cool, crossed paths several times, you know what I'm saying? And it's been a beautiful thing. So, you know, with that being said, when you heard Run DMC for the first time, Casual, how did it affect you?
Oh yeah, I was excited. It was something new, you know what I mean? I was captivated, entertained, and a few of the things that would keep you just drew me in that direction, so to speak. Coming from Oakland, California, the style of music was a little bit different, you know what I'm saying? And so I liked it. Run DMC was my favorite. I remember I had the first red, it was red profile cover with the black writing or whatever. And
yeah.
The one that was 2 years ago, a friend of mine, my older sister had that record. And so my older sister was kind of hip. I was learning about hip hop at an early age.
Oh, okay. I see. And and so for those who don't know Casual's like this, he's a master at wordplay, man. He raps, but he doesn't just make, it's not about his tone and his delivery. That's like part of the that's part of the thing. He actually says stuff that'll kind of have you, well, I can't say what'll have you doing it. It just had my mind where like 3 or 4 days later, I was like, damn, Casual. You know what I'm saying? Like, man. So on top of that though, I'll say when Brown took me up to, well, the Pharcyde, they took me up to the Bay. And when we went to the Hyro headquarters, seeing boxes of merch and the office and the desk and just all that kind of stuff, it kind of set my tone as far as, I mean, Brown had a studio and Brown had an office when he kind of brought me into the fold of things. But going up to the Bay, that trip kind of changed my life. It was like, man, you guys have an establishment, man. It was like a self-contained unit, and all you guys were working together. And when I came back, I was kind of like, man, there's other ways of making money other than than managing a hip hop group, going out and doing shows and whatnot. You really can come together with your folks, and you guys can kind of create your own little tribe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing that I mean, I'm proud of a lot of things we've done, but one of the main things that I feel like was the glue to keeping us together, besides the fact that we were friends before entering into the music industry. I mean, we were friends before we started rapping, but the main thing that kept us together was the fact that we decided to acquire some assets and, I mean, own them. And so that makes a whole big difference because you guys are tied together no matter how y'all feel for the moment, and the asset appreciates, and you guys are still accumulating, gains together, while no matter what's going on really in your hip hop career. So that was a really big thing that kept us together throughout a lot of the times when we probably would not be just communicating just because life wouldn't allow you to. You got newborn kids and somebody else just getting married and all of these things going together. But one thing that tied us together is our investment in certain assets like that building that you just mentioned, which allowed us to have, I mean, right now we got an 85, we got a little bit of land too, but we got like an 8,500 square foot building in East Oakland, California, with a nice warehouse space for performance studios and then office space upstairs. And we even have printing presses and all that stuff in there at certain different times. And so we learned this type of stuff from other people just in the Bay and networking with all the local independent moms and pops in the area. And we see their equipment and just be like, we should do that. You know what I'm saying? We should do that. And until we reached our capacity of what we could do for ourselves, but in the meanwhile, we amassed a whole bunch of stuff and few assets.
Yeah, I actually been up to y'all warehouses. I'm a comedian, and I performed up there with Chris Riggins. That's my homie.
Okay, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, man. I think one thing that really I thought was really dope. I was watching an interview with Eminem, and he's a huge fan of hieroglyphics. Like y'all like one of his number one hip hop groups. Period. I don't know if y'all know that. You know that?
I don't know. I know he always showed love. I definitely know. If you're an MC who love wordplay like me, you can do nothing but show mutual respect to a person like Eminem, who's done everything he's done with words, let alone rhymes and lyrics, which all I consider three different things. You know what I'm saying? And so Eminem gave me his demo in like 96 or 7, right before he came out. Whatever it was before he came out, we had a show in Detroit on one of the high road tours. I think he was either opening or trying to get on the field, but he came backstage and he might have gave it to A+, but we standing, he had one demo, and we went to the band and listened to it, and I'll tell you no lie, I was on it like that would go, but I didn't see everything. A+ seen it. A+, he was like A+ favorite. He was like, this shit incredible. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, you tripping off that dude from Detroit still? Like the whole tour. He'd be like, dude, you gotta give this another listen. Like, this dude gassing. I was like, he was gassing. But then to find out who he was later, I was like, that was dude from Detroit. Oh my God. Like, we should have signed him or whatever. And so I know he just the fact that he was at a high road show and showed love like that. And then he wore a casual shirt. Shirt on his tour. I think the tour was called Rappers I Know, or something about, I don't know what it was called specifically, but it was something about, let me teach you about some rappers or something. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the greatest honors. Like, to be able to show that picture to my children or whatever, like, you just the biggest rapper. All right, look at this one you got on my shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important when artists like that give credit where credit's due, especially, like people, like it's part of the golden age of hip hop. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, when I was coming up, that was like only like there was like the mainstream rap, and there's like what's the cool people like really listen to. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all came up in that. You know what I mean? Like, as far as like man, you don't listen unless you listen to this. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what's that? You know what I mean? They put you on game, you know what I mean? So, I mean, hats off, man.
Appreciate that. You know, we tried to rep for the West, and y'all, I mean, I don't know where you were specifically talking to Smooch. Smooch, I remember you said earlier that you did not know the impact that you guys were having at that time. I'm going to fill you in. Well, we was crazy on that. I'm talking about crazy on the Pharcyde.
Yeah.
Because y'all was capping. You forgot I knew Paul Stewart.
Yeah.
And what we called capping back then.
Some of your records.
Yeah, exactly. Capping back then wasn't the same thing as capping is now. Capping back then was like bagging or playing the dozen.
Yeah. That's what it was. That's what it was where I was from too.
So fat. I mean, when I heard that song for the first time, I think Paul Stewart let me hear it for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was blown away because I was kind of mad that they learned how to incorporate humor. Because I like being, I'm a funny dude. Like, I consider myself a funny dude. But they had learned how to incorporate humor into their bars before I did. And I was like, damn, I got the whole cafeteria. Like, this is like, you know, this is high school.
Yeah.
I got the whole cab coming, catching the early bus like the CD cap. But I never incorporated it in my raps. And when I heard your mama, I was like, why did I think of that? You know what I'm saying? And so that was a great inspiration, the High Road crew, and a lot of the stuff coming up out of the West. And we met in the early years because of, I think it was because of Paul Stewart, if I'm not.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And so we was tied in a little bit, but not all the way. I remember some house on like off of Melrose or something.
No, that's where Paul was living, and they were living. You know, I was couch surfing over there.
So that was good on that. But I just wanted to fill you in that not and that influence stretched. Obviously, you know they had hits, so you know that influence stretched beyond just with y'all how y'all affected High Road. Oakland was on it. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like new music, innovative, and it was building on all. We were all building something on the West Coast together, putting new stones in a pyramid that helped develop West Coast hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
You know, it's a trip because Oakland's one of the largest. Oakland, San Francisco is one of the largest markets. Like we can always come. We could literally come there like 3 times a year. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta say the same thing for Los Angeles. It's crazy. So it's reciprocal like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So tell me this: how did hieroglyphics come together?
Like I said, the majority of us knew each other since elementary school, but we wasn't rhyming. I knew A Plus and Tajay, we was like all elementary school kindergarten buddies, like that long ago.
Oh wow.
But we started rhyming in about the 8th, 9th grade. I didn't know we started rhyming early. We started rhyming together at about the 8th or 9th grade. Because I didn't even know Plus and them rhymed. And I stayed, Tajay stayed up the hill from me, and A Plus stayed up the hill and around the corner. And I remember one day in my 9th grade year, this is the era we met, that A Plus had on some clean ass hammer pants. But you remember around the time when people actually wore those pants that,
Yeah.
you know, when he was walking up the hill and they had on fit. And I was like, hold on, they look like they some rappers or something. I wasn't the type that come out the house that much. I could, but I was into my art so much. And when I see them walking up the hill, I was like, I'm coming outside. Because they dress like rappers. And let me go see what's going on. You feel me? And I know them. They're my partners. They walking on their way to the house. So I'm like, what's up? I come out the house. They like, what's up, guy? I'm like, y'all rap? They like, yeah. And instantly we start getting down. I was like, Bill, give me a beat. Like we added. And so they was like, oh, this is kind of tight. I would introduce you to my partner. And the next day they brought Dale to battle me. So I was like, okay, now this fool intimidated me because Dale walked down the hill. We lived on the hill. They stayed up the hill. I stayed down the hill. So automatically they had the military intimidation by coming down the hill. Like, you feel me? And I'm looking up to them as they started. So I'm like, dang. And I couldn't tell. Dale had on a big ass king hat. It was like the Latifah hats from old school days.
Yeah.
He was walking a spotted Dalmatian, bro. And that scared me because I was like, this who they bringing? He must got bars, is what I was thinking as he walked down the hill. And then when he approached me, there we go. My bad. Look, he approached me, right? I'm just chilling in my little, you know. Oh, am I upside down?
Yeah.
How that happen? Hold on. I thought it was.
You still up to there?
Oh, that's that Android stuff, y'all. Oh, hold on.
Nah, don't throw Android under the bus, man. I love Android. You know what I'm saying?
Why Why you be
Yo, this is like a magic trick.
He's passing me by.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go back in. Hold on, bud. That's great.
No, I see you. I see you. I see you, bro.
Oh, hold on. He tapping back in. Hold on. Let me bring him in real quick.
All right, sorry about my technical difficulties on self-quarantine or shelter in place. Dropping my little video, you know. Sorry about my technical difficulties on. We back?
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
Now there's a frozen upside down.
It is. Hey, he
I'm
look
frozen?
happy.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Okay, there we go. There we go.
Wow.
So check this out, Cash. I just wanted everybody to get a little bit of a, I know I've known you for like 25 years, so I know the pedigree. I know all the ins and outs, but I just felt it would be unfair to start people off at Big Head Science. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
they needed a little bit of a precursor to that. So break down Big Head Science for us.
So you want me to give them a precursor to start, or you just want me to break down Big Head Science?
Precursor into Big Head Science. So they get
hopefully people know the history about hieroglyphics, but and then if you don't know what I've been doing for like the last maybe 8 years, I started running an event called Hiero Day. And this spawned out of me working at community centers with in East Oakland. I was with Too Short and Ghazi, who runs Empire now. It's crazy, but we all was at a youth center in Oakland. Well, I started an event there called Fast. This Fast event to me was called For a Safe Town. It was my first time learning the bureaucracy of throwing events. I got in the Hiero Day, and through a Hiero Day, again, it was serving a lot of my community-based needs to, try to community beautification through whatever way it means necessary type stuff. And so we were it started out with us offering platforms to independent artists so that they could perform with big name artists. Like we bring 2 or 3 big name artists and let them get down with the independent artists. Well, I'm saying all this to say, as over time developed, it's kind of like blossom for me. A thought that's been on my mind basically is how can we put some thought to opening up not only some of these platforms, but basically some of the money, the direct money that travels over our head in hip hop, you know what I'm saying, through basically how they've exhausted streaming by reducing it. I don't know if people know, but all artists, every artist who streams, we only get 10% of any streaming company's revenue. So they make all this money, then they take 10% of it and divide it up amongst all the artists. I mean, there are systems in place like that, not just with streaming, but all throughout the music industry. And so again, along my progression, I was like, okay, yeah, it's cool. I got the natural inclination to want to congregate with men and, want to do group activities. And yeah, but no, I'm like, no, it's something bigger than that for me. I really think I started thinking on a mass scale for hip hop eventually, and started coming up with little ideas, and I would present them to people, and the majority of people I present them to, I always ask them to play devil's advocate to see if they can probe some of the ideas that are now spawning in this new thought area for me. And most people be like, hey, you own something. And so that's what's led me to develop what I call Big Head Science. And basically it's a cool name for economics, because people don't like hearing terms like economics and cooperative economics. And I'm cool enough to market it in a way that they're willing to listen to it. We call the new money big heads, and we know what science is. You know what I'm saying? Now, to give a disclaimer, I got this I got this from the producers. The producers of the album are named Big Head Science. And so I did not get these ideas from them. What I got was they basically sparked the fire that led to the ideas as we sat in meetings about the album and discussed what Big Head Science was to us. And so basically, in a nutshell, obviously it's all about, first of all, having that pristine product. But once you got that pristine product and you got people who will support you, so to speak, the new way to harness, and it's plus we could go into detail, but I feel the new way to harness support, and it's not necessarily new, but it's basically in offering mutually beneficial programs that let your supporters or closest fans earn with you. If we look through any income stream in music, there's some fat executives that you don't know taking some of the money. All we got to do is think to get the money out of their hands and redistribute that wealth to our closest supporters in any regard of the industry that you're thinking of. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail with some of my ideas, but just to give you an example, if you take the template of mutually beneficial programs and campaigns and run that through any type of thing you could think of, especially concerning one of our main auxiliaries to communicate and get to the people right now, which is social media. I was just one I thought of in my backyard the other day was monetize your challenge. So I started the monetize your challenge under the auspices of me running a mutually beneficial campaign that would help the people in the campaign and also help me, because in mutual benefit, no one is starting to become a hater because we all taking up together. You see what I'm saying? So in the monetize your challenge, I'm challenging people to come up with a monetized challenge in turn that they challenge their supporters to do the same thing. I mean, just like anything that changed together like that, if people were to cooperate in something like that, it would, no matter how successful their monetized challenge was, if people see what's going on, it would start to form a small little itty economy for people. And then I said, if you join my challenge for $25, whoever got the most fruitful monetized challenge gets a chance to win 50% of everybody's entry fee.
Oh, man.
And so again, it's just the ways to, obviously it's supposed to be benefit in it for everybody, but you make sure that you're not extracting your benefit while you leaving other people dry. No, everybody's supposed to walk up like, woo, you know what I mean?
Genius. Real quick. Casual, like, man, I give people that I bring on the show props. You know what I'm saying? Mike, Minister of Technology, Jeremy. When I first came across Jeremy Scippio, I hadn't seen his comedy, but I knew just through our interaction that he was a very talented comedian. Like, and I just felt that he was, you know, he was just on a level that just hadn't been recognized. And with you, Casual, man, I remember Facebook, you would give stock tips and stock informations, and your comments would just be filled up with everybody chimed in and mesmerized. And I just say, I'll be like, dang, this dude really knows the stock. Like, he took the time to understand the stock market. And I kind of felt like with the way that you relayed information to people through the comments about these penny stocks and different stocks you were dealing with, it was kind of like a lot of people wouldn't have gave the game away. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt that you were open with it. So to see you do the big head science, to see you do all the things I've seen you do to date, it doesn't surprise me in any way. Like, man, I wish I would have been one of the ones that listened, though. It was kind of over my head. It was kind of over my head because he talked about Bitcoin before everybody was all over that. And he was saying there was a million other things that were like Bitcoin and whatnot.
April of 2012, if somebody go look at my Facebook, you know how you can go back. Go look at April of 2012. And I'm on there screaming from the top. It was $77. I'm like, man, check this out. I'm telling y'all. And then people just like, what is he going crazy?
Hey. So big head science, man. the model of it is incredible, and I like the way that you've used the tools that you have in order to get a lot of people engaging in the movement of big head science.
Yeah, I've been trying, and if I go back to the theme of mutually beneficial campaigns, and then you see some of the things I've done, you'll see how some of it has helped to gain me. It shows how the system works. For instance, I just put it out on 420, and I had some told me price it at $100. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in the game at that point. Like, I'm looking through it's like I'm looking through my tackle box. I'm out here at a nice spot. I know it's, I'm like, okay, how you gonna do this? And I was just like, put it on, $100. And I was like, to see, but I had a plan, because I was like, okay, you do got this thing, right? You want to offer mutual benefit. If you put it out for 100, let people make money with you. So I was like, check this out. Whether you buy it for $100 or not, if you share my post and I get a sale off of your share, you're getting $25 to your account. And so again, in 1 week of selling it for $100, I was able to sell over 100 of them, which makes me think, it's already on its way to selling 1,000 units at $100 easy, because in the first week it sold 100, and you know what I'm saying. And so it gave me enough confidence in the moves that I was busting, and then I was actually able to pay out 3 people who made income from sharing my post. So one dude actually got $50 because 2 people told me they got the album off of his page. Now imagine if people embrace that, really. It would not just only benefit me. Yes, it would benefit me, but I thought of it. But everybody who participated has the chance to benefit. And in times like this is not the only, first of all, I didn't think of it. It's just me taking other things I know from other businesses and applying them to hip hop. And I'm not going to be like, oh, I thought of that. No, they got affiliate programs and everything but hip hop. Why don't hip hop have an affiliate program? If you shared my link on my album and you get me a sale, you get a percentage of that sale. Why wouldn't we do that? How could other companies afford to do that? That's startup companies, but long-running hip-hop companies can't do it. We can do it, but the money is in other people's control. And again, until we think it out of their hands, because we got a direct connection with the funder, which is the supporter. And so really, when you upload why do we use digital distributors? Does anybody give me an answer to why MCs and rappers, whoever, would you use a digital distributor in 2020? Let's think about that. I'm just putting that on the panel floor.
I would say this. So we messed with a form of digital distribution, and it's just they create a convenient dashboard that puts you in contact with all these platforms. But what you're saying is, instead of using that cool dashboard and to get to all these platforms and paying a fee for it, you're saying you can go directly to the platform.
You can.
For those who don't know, hold on, guys. For those who don't know, like, could you name a few digital distributors, just because,
I wouldn't want to put nobody under the bus at all. But they're definitely.
Just as an example, they don't have to be guilty.
But let's say, just Google digital distributor. But the premise of what they do is this, and we being silly. See, we're taking physical labors and placing them into a cyberspace where they don't apply. It would be a labor to go and get your record in every store physically in the U.S. and they have phone numbers and shipping but all they doing is going to different websites. Just like you go from Instagram to Facebook, they gonna go to Spotify, iTunes, and upload your music. So what if they had to do it at 20 sites? Is that worth 20% of your bread?
You're making all the artwork and doing all the IRC codes and everything, and they're just like, okay, iTunes, Spotify.
Yeah,
we're doing all the work still.
Exactly. And so that 20% is 20% we could give to people. if an artist said, okay, I've realized what he's saying, I'm gonna just do it with one project. I'll upload it myself. I freed up 20%. Now I don't got no distributor. Now I can take that same 20% and offer it back to people in mutually beneficial plans to help them to promote my album. You see what I'm saying? But that's not the only money we can untangle. We can sit there and go through every facet of hip hop and find the money that we ain't got access to and think how these technologies allow us access to that currency and do it. And so in my book that I'm trying to have out, because I'm running my mouth so I'm writing the book this fast now, and I'm trying to have it out at least at by the end of this month, because you know, it's just a small manual, but I definitely got to put certain things out there in a well-documented form so that, you know, the youth and people in the future would be, if we don't apply it now, it's going to get applied. It's just going to be a matter of time.
I got a confession, man. When you were settling me out at Hyro Day, I really wanted to tap into you on some business stuff, and it was just a line of people. It was a line of people hating that I was back there with you, and I really just wanted to get into, cause nah, man, Casual is a smart cat, man. He not to get into your assets and all that, but you're the first dude that I saw who was flipping cars, getting real estate, like your whole thing was not about flash. Your whole thing was like assets, and me and Brown are all about that. You know what I'm saying? So based on this interview, man, I'm gonna have to come up to the Bay, man. I mean, honestly, even on that note, we should put. I mean, I'm just like, everything is monetizable, and the knowledge, especially, not like that. But if we spread out, if we even set up platforms where we could talk about things other than hip hop and just strictly be about the grit, about look, this how I flipped it. People sharing, because just like you said, people don't give up the game. It could be one platform where we do that in order to, you know, get people good ideas, but. I'm willing to do that whenever you down to do it. I'm excited. I mean, I hope y'all see I'm motivated to spread some of this information.
I have ideas for that. We'll talk about this after the show.
Word up.
Minister of Technology. That's the dope part. Like Mike, like man.
Dude, it's the perfect time.
Like Casual. I'm sorry, Mike.
No, go ahead.
Yo, like Casual. I tried to get down with Mike for like 8 years before it happened, man. I was really trying to just make the connect, but he was in the Bay. And then the ancestors lined it up where he was in LA. I think we might have dealt with him a little bit before he came to LA, but when he was in LA, it was on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was easy.
Yep, it was on. And then Jeremy, you know what I'm saying? Jeremy, he knows the comedy thing, you know what I'm saying? He has like an in, he understands the writing of it, he understands the comedians, he understands he knows how to have relationships with all these different kind of comedians, like ones from the, you know, from the ethnic comedy on up to the straight lace comedy to the dirty comedy. So it's a beautiful thing, but man, Big Head Science definitely got my attention, man. Like, and I'm not somebody who is like super, I'm not on social media like that, man. Like I go in and I promote the show a little bit, but I really don't browse too much or not go to the left and the right. But it caught my attention. But then Brown understood what was happening from an economical standpoint, I guess, from the effort behind the marketing and whatnot. And then we had a conversation, and then I had to kind of pull myself back and say, man, I didn't get it. Like I got it from a consumer point of view, but I didn't get it from the business, you know, from the business side. When it all came together, I was like, man, it was genius.
I appreciate that. And, you know, again, I'm following the footsteps of some brothers who laid that, you know, good, especially the good brother Nip, rest in peace, who showed us that you can value your art and harness your support. One thing I laid down on Instagram today is I was saying, man, you know, psychologists say there are 16 different personality traits, right? And then how many people in the world? What is like 7 billion, 7.5 billion people in the world? So what that give you? 468,075,000, you know, 750,000.
I'm gonna take your word for that.
That's just like you. You know what I'm saying? or at least something like you, or at least got the same personality trait. So what will require you get support of everybody in hip hop in order to run your campaign? You just got to know how to harness the people who see your vision, because they just like you anyway, because it ain't too many different templates for people. I'm just keeping it a buck. You know, it's people who hearing just exactly what I'm saying, feeling like I'm saying it the way they would have said it, or the way they wish they would have said it, because we resonate like that. And so in harnessing support, I'm just talking to anybody who's trying to figure out how to harness support. First, make sure what you're doing is mutually beneficial. And secondly, don't listen to people who ain't trying to hear it, who trying to demotivate you. Just simply talk to your core supporters who trying to get you there, because that's already enough people to get you further. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Damn.
Well, that was powerful, man. You're a good brother, Casual, man. I appreciate you for breaking down the science in the layman's terms. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, you know how we do, bro. I love building all the time, whenever, man. You know?
Yeah, I like any business talk. You know what I mean? That's like where I'm at mentally. You know what I mean? Because I've been in my little game for a while, and after a while, you start seeing, like, you know, certain people do tricks, and they do anything to avoid giving you what your due, or you know, just you just, when you see enough undercutting, after a while you go like, yo, what am I missing? Why am I being on the outside of that? And then you end up getting educated. You know what I mean? And then you get more info. Once you get more info, you know, once you know better, you're supposed to do better. So that's why I always admire people who like really, really get down to like the nitty gritty when it comes to business. You know what I mean? Like in that way, like, you know, I literally put you guys like ahead of me. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, you like that too, Smooch. You're just like, y'all see the small stuff, and I'll be like a student, like, yo, wait, I want that.
I'll share something. One of my proudest, I'll give you two of my proudest moments. We gonna go to Mike Relm real quick. Mike Relm had me come down to this Fortnite party he was DJing. Let me tell you about this Fortnite party.
How come I ain't get invited?
Hey man, you not Smooch, man. I'll be on Mike, man. I'll be on him. We, you know.
Man, come on, man. I game. I want to go to Fortnite party.
I'm gonna say this and keep it short, but I'll just say Fortnite provided a festival that would have been great for about 20,000 people, but there was only 300. You know what I'm saying? It was only 300, and like the liquor, the food, they had magicians, like every single thing. Reshaped my whole mind. And you know what? Mike invited me because he knew I'd appreciate it, and my mind would process it in a way more than me just being around some free food, magicians, and like they had a full stage. They had I want to say they had Drake's, maybe it was like Drake's, the people that do his production team. Like, so it was like for 300 people, it was to the level of festivals that I saw for 20,000, 30,000 people.
But you said the capacity was 300, or it was a bad turnout?
The capacity was 300.
Wow,
they did this for a handful of people. And now with Casual, one of my proudest moments with you, Kaz, was seeing you guys. I want to say you were on a TV. It was a local TV show in Oakland, but I want to say you were being interviewed, and the mayor might have been there and whatnot. But just to see you guys on the morning news, man, that was incredible to me, man.
You know what? That was really a good feeling, and I don't get nervous much. You know, we've been performing for a while, but that was a moment that gave me a little bit of nervousness, because I was like on a different platform that was like big. And so honestly, that's a local station, KTVU, Oakland Channel 2, and they've been supporting Hiram Day since day one. Shout out to Chelsea over at Channel 2. You know how we do.
Yeah, real quick, Mike. You being a DJ in the Bay, how did you hear about hieroglyphics? How did that come into your radar?
The weird thing is, to me, they were just always there. Like, it wasn't like okay, what is, like, it was just like, well, that's that. Like, it, you know what I mean? Like, there's not that, like, when you ask people what was it like to first hear Run DMC, like, my first record was 93 Till Infinity. Like, that's just, You just had to have it. Like that's the standard. It was just always there to me. I had no idea. Like, well, I knew obviously how old it was because date was on it, but like it was just there.
I think he's saying that, and that's true. I mean, I'm being a member of hieroglyphics. I must just say it wasn't too much of a like culture before that happened. We kind of like helped the culture by battling all in the streets of Berkeley. Nobody was doing that stuff, and then the places that we did it at turned into the places where that happened at. And so battles in Berkeley, early shows at the Maritime Hall back in the early
Maritime. Ooh-wee.
Yeah, that's where we all.
Yeah, Maritime.
That's where we came up. But before us in the Bay, it was like everybody was gangsters, so it was not no opportunity to be standing there and rapping because too much stuff could happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen those cyphers and it happened. Don't get me wrong. We got the Ant Diddley Dogs, the rapping rhymes, the people of that culture who still focus on the lyrics. But we was showing people it was okay to say, I don't deal with gang culture and I'm still out here gassing. What's up? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You mind explaining the name Casual? Like, what's the origin?
I mean, honestly, it kind of like just was like people was calling me that. I think I picked the name myself, but it's kind of just like it is whatever. Just like even when I do my albums, like if I feel like doing this style, I can do that style. It's just gonna come out like just like when it's a casual dress day, you don't plan what you putting on, right? You just grab that shit and put it on, and it's kind of like it doesn't mean accidental. But it just means very informal with it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, man. Well, nah, man. I want to thank you for tapping in, Casual, man. You got me, but you know what? You had me sold at them Facebook stock tips that I didn't hop on. You know.
Where are these stock tips? What is going on with this?
I know, right?
Well, he's talking about a few years ago. I actually was a stock just see, it's in my heart. I was running a learn the stock market challenge, and we was trying to see in like 2 months who could make, you know what I'm saying, the most off of a limited budget, you know what I'm saying, since they had places where you could buy like Robinhood, where you could buy pieces of the stock. Yeah. And so we had a few people participating, and a lot of people spent those 2 months learning how to trade, and including myself. I was learning out loud as I was giving out the tips, but when you're trying to teach something, is also when you learn the best learner, you know what I'm saying? And so I never professed to be like, number one, but I am an independent researcher, and I do know how. I got good research methodology. I sat with a group of scholars who taught me research methodology, and that's the key. If you know how to research, then you can get to the bottom of almost anything.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. No, man. It was actually, it just kind of, what captivated me about it was that at this point, this was before Instagram had jumped off, and you had so many people engaging in a conversation about stocks. And I know they just like me, I didn't know anything, they didn't know anything, but you were given the knowledge and you had people motivated.
We were talking about cryptocurrencies at that time that you're talking about. If you're saying it was before Instagram, we definitely were talking about cryptocurrencies. And people were engaging, they were trying to poke holes in the blockchain and just saying it won't be around and this will happen and that'll happen. But if they would have just put their skepticism down, what's $100?
Man,
I mean, that $100 at the time we was talking about today is worth $6,000. You know what I'm saying? And so, what can I say?
Nah, that's tight. Well, nah, man. I'll say this. How have you felt the impact of what you're doing and the knowledge that you're sharing?
Not so much. I do got people who hit me up and they rocking with me tough and they want to help build out stuff. But again, I told somebody the other day, like disseminating a lot of this information is more important than my own success, or more important than the static or the normal ways you measure the success of an album. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I price it there too, so people could call me a fool, and then I can start hitting them with this game, and then I could be like, I mess with that. All right, I'm a supporter now, because it's really, I need to get some attention in order to call people in, to ring the bell to say, look, I got a new way we can do this paper thing in hip hop, and listen to my ideas, and I'm willing for you to throw tomatoes at them if they warrant that. You know what I'm saying?
That's tight. Hello. What you saying?
Very funny.
Where'd you go? That's crazy. He did a magic trick.
Was that it?
Yo.
Oh man, just
Call
like
911, man. Yo.
nah.
You got to pay for the rest of the knowledge.
Yeah, man. That game was so powerful. It set him out the conversation, man. It set him out the conversation. It was so powerful. But
I want to take this time to show you guys what I've been working on. This is my paintings, man.
What?
I wanted to show him. You see it?
Yeah, no, I can see it.
Yeah.
Dude, what? And then the gold has like a highlight at the right light to it, or damn.
Yeah. I put it's gold paint.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it an Egyptian theme. You know what I mean? That's why I wanted to show him where you bounce.
Hey man. Hey man. That game was so powerful, man. You know what I'm saying? The game was so powerful. It set everything off, man. Just so we could just shoot, man, reset our minds. But I'll say this, man. Casual is a cat that when I saw so you gotta understand, before Instagram jumped off, to see a person get hundreds of likes and to see people engage in like a chain of comments that's like 70 comments down, and we're talking about 2010, 2011, 2012, it's kind of like it amazed me. So anyway, Casual, yeah, we got you back. So I was just telling them that he went high tech with the headphones. Can you hear us?
Hello?
Yeah.
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Yeah, man. Sorry for being so janky, audience. That's me doing that. Now I had to log in from my computer because my phone died out. I should have been logged in from the computer the whole time.
Hey, man, I told him you was giving us too much game, man. Your game set the whole situation off, man.
Hey. Y'all can hear me clear, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, cool.
He was like, yo, and this is the most important thing you need to,
No, that's all good. I know I'll be boosted like that sometimes.
Yeah. Well, no, man, I appreciate you for tapping in, Casual, man. And on the real, man, I hate driving, but I'm definitely not going to be flying no time soon. But I'm going to come up and just have a conversation with you, man. I feel even if it's just blowing or just sipping on a little something cold or whatever, you one of them cats that I feel, put it this way, I'm never going to not bite again. And as long as you give me your ear, as long as you give me the game, hey, man, I'm going to soak that up because, man, on that Facebook situation when you was giving the game, it was just so over my head cryptocurrency at the time. Like it wasn't like, put it this way. I talk to cats and they tell me about they used to exchange cryptocurrency for like playing video games and
and
they're like, man, I gave away so much Bitcoin, man. I used to give that stuff away, man.
But the biggest story is the guy who bought a pizza for 10,000 Bitcoin.
I saw that.
And then there's one guy who lost like 375,000 Bitcoin, and he was at the dump looking for his old computer. Like he was just going through the whole salvage yard. I was like, crazy. I mean, but again, it's going to be many more of those, at least a couple more of those type of moves, you know what I'm saying, in the next 20 or maybe 30 years, you know what I'm saying. Stock market just dipped the other day. Tesla stock was just $300. Now it's back $800, and that happened in like a week. So people be watching, you can cake up right while everybody throws a recession. But you like, dang, Tesla stock, you can just go, if I pull it up, share the screen, you can go look. As soon as right before the stimulus, Tesla fell from like $800 or high sevens to 300. And then in like 2 days went back up to 800. So if you would have bought that 300 share, your 300 would have been 800. Imagine if you bought 10 of them, or you know what I'm saying?
Dang.
We ain't got no place where this type of information is relayed. I mean, obviously people are supposed to go get into that type of shit yourself. You don't have to, hip hop don't have to lead you to the stock market. But if people don't know about it, and there are people in our culture who do know about it, we need platforms where we could, you know, disseminate that type of information.
I'm gonna plug you at Brown, man. I got a great conversation for the two of you, man. You guys are very like-minded on the. See, my thing is, I know my lane, man. Like me.
Yeah, Brown already plugged in. You just gotta tell him to hit me. I'm like, he said he gonna plug me with Brown. What is you talking about?
No. I'm talking about on that conversation.
I hear you though.
Yeah.
You know, we go back like a flow jack. What?
Yeah. So nah, man, I'm the best I can, man. I want to support Big Head Science, man. Your movement is impeccable, man. Your movement is impeccable.
Hey, this is support right here. And just like I tell everybody, yo, it ain't about being an early or a monetary supporter. Streams are sales. People don't know. Do people know a stream is a sale? It's just at a really, really, really small rate, like a 600th of a penny. Still, it's still a sale. You know, it's defined as one. And so there's plenty of ways to support, and bringing me on the show is some of the best support I could have got. And so again, I don't want people to think it's all about the money. Definitely it is in Big Head Science. You got a magnifying glass on the big head. But when people say, don't think about the money and everything, it'll work, they're not saying don't do accounting. They're just simply saying, don't let the focus on the financing blind your creativity and your will to actually want to execute. And so that's how I'm saying it too, you know. So it's about the money, but it ain't about the money, you know.
Yeah, no, I heard you say something last week or maybe the beginning of this week, and you were like, you didn't want to look back to kind of see how you were doing because you felt like the energy of that would shift the progress.
I mean, I know how I am, because then I start staring at the PayPal or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And be like, ooh, when the next sale gonna come? Nah, that's the bad casual. I'm better when I'm just out there working and then doing so much work that the funds accumulate because you're being so active. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I really believe in science. You know about how atoms abandon their superposition once they're observed, right? Like that's just science. And so the atoms that make up our bodies are in a superposition all over this universe, and they only solidify in their actual position or location once observed. You can look up a test called the double slit test. You can just put double slit test. It's gonna be fun. Watch the most elementary video you can watch on it, but you're gonna get some real science about how quantum mechanics work. But I was like, dang, well, that's how it kind of feel like that when I'm into something financial. As soon as I start focusing, like, we need to get to this mark, I lose my creative intuition that helped me get to the first mark, and the funds stop rolling in so plentiful. And so for the first week, I didn't even look. I just knew what I had to put receipts on my page, and I was estimating. I was like, man, I think I put like 40 of these things up here already. I was telling my wife. And then one dude counting them, and that threw me off. I knew somebody was counting. Of course, they're counting. I'm making it public. It's a ledger now. But dude gave me the accounting. Like, I see 45 of these things. And I was like, all right, here we go. So now I know at least. But then I told him, hey, some people told me not to share their thing. And also, I've had supporters who priced the art higher than what I priced it at.
Oh, wow.
I had like 3 people bought it for $200, and my sister, you can't count her, but she bought it for $250. But that's my sister. But I had 3 people I wasn't related to buy it for $200. And so I'm not saying everybody, we're gonna start selling $100 albums now, but what I am saying is The template for pre-sales where you're going through a distributor, you should get whacked in your head for that. It don't make no money. That money don't go to you. They don't give you a preliminary check. Like, here's your early pre-sale check, and we're going to get you the rest of the bread later. They just cake up in preliminary of your release date, and we ain't figured out no other way to do it. So in my way, I earned 10 G's off the pre-sales, and the album is still selling, you know what I'm saying, after that day. And people who don't got that money can still enjoy the product. So
Good question, Casual. So you said that you're not saying you want, you're not saying everybody sell records for $100 now, but like, how do you see it being kind of sustainable for other art, like moving forward?
Well, that's a good question. I do think that people should pick their price point to value their art at, and then add a mutually beneficial aspect to it in order to get the free promo or that fanfare might start. Let me give you another example of this. Remember, I was talking about loosening up some of that money and giving it back to the people, right? Here's another good example of it. In order to promote my album, I don't know how much time we got, but I'm gonna try to be quick. Okay, cool. In order to promote the album, I was running Instagram ads. Now let's just do the breakdown on the Instagram ads and how it was turning out for me. Basically, it would go like, in order for them to expose my product to 100,000 people or whatever, they wanted me to pay $300 for 7 days. So I did it multiple times, but the third time I was about to do it, I was like, let me just stop and look real quick and do the analytics on what I actually gained from that. Because you can show it in front of people, but what did I gain? How many followers? Well, it turned out the most followers I gained off of that $300 was 41 followers. So I was like, what? They just charged me basically $6.50 or more per follower. Now, they don't have too much control over that. They just saying, look, we'll put your product in front of this many people's faces, and whoever clicks, so be it. Even if they unfollow you in 2 minutes, we got nothing to do about that. So I said, well, okay, how about I take that money from them, reduce the rate down to $200 and give out $5 a follower to my people on my page, which is unheard of. And so since I got the math to know that I'm saving inside of my budget, I'm about to save 100 bones. All I need is 40 followers at $5 each. And that's my $200 budget exhausted. I just saved 100 from not using Instagram no more. And what this added was it went off quick. This one dude made 40 bones off of that. Like, he got me like 8 people. Well, he got me so many people. I was like, dude, I might just hire you just to like do my social media. But not only that, everyone will have different price points for campaigns like this. But if they are mutually beneficial and your goal is to harness your supporters, who's to say, at least the pre-sale shouldn't be 25 or 50 bones, because pre-sale is only for supporters anyway, people who want to buy in early. And if we read any book on marketing, they'll tell you how elemental early supporters are to the success of hella projects. You know what I'm saying?
Real quick, Casual. This is on a totally different subject, but this is something that has blown my mind, almost equal to your knowledge of the stock market. How did you figure out how to read hieroglyphics, and what was it that motivated you to even attempt to read an ancient text?
Let me try to dim this light some. Sorry, I'm all lit up like, what's his name? Well, you know what? I probably don't even need this shit, but I wouldn't say I figured it out. Is that the word you used? I'm sorry.
Well, okay. Can you read hieroglyphics?
Yes, definitely. I read the ancient Egyptian language, Medu Neter. I wrote a book called Magi, a handbook for the conscious community. And I put certain good information in there. I've like retranslated stuff. One thing I've done, I've always made my writings public so that I can like trick people into teaching me. And once I got to the level where people couldn't teach me no more, then I was just amongst the PhDs and the scholars. And what I mean to say by that is I contacted the former museum curator of the British Museum for the Egyptological section, you know what I'm saying, or Egyptology. Well, his name was R.B. Parkinson's. He was the curator for 25 years. He's now teaching at Oxford over in wherever in England somewhere, and he's their Egyptologist. And I contacted him by email because I wanted to talk to him about something that he translated that I was like, no, that ain't right in my head. But I'm like, instead of just putting it out like that, let me actually contact him like scholars do so we can have our dialogue. And at first he hit me off like, yo, you know what I'm saying, I got a semester starting. He told me he'd hit me at the end of the semester. And so what I really did was responded in Medu Neter transliteration. Because if you know the language, you know which icons transliterate back to Latin, the Latin script. You see what I'm saying? And so, and you also would omit certain vowels, and then you'd be writing exactly what you're trying to say. But he know, dude, he must have responded to me and was like, I'm gonna give you a call in about a week after I did that, right? And so we started doing our dialogue, and lo and behold, I got a written apology from him in email about something that he had posted in the British Museum. It's a Astrakhan. It's in my book. I don't know if I published that in my book, but I because it was kind of candid, and I was wondering what I needed his permission to share those emails. But basically, what I'm saying is, I went amongst scholars and teachers and people who were willing to dialogue about the certain subjects that I kind of like self-taught myself. I would sit around teachers and go to classes until I felt like I was the best in the class, and I wasn't trying to be the best nowhere. I wanted to learn. And so eventually I knew it. I mean, I got taken to museums by people who weren't on my side, like trying to bust me out. Like, what this say? You know what I'm saying? And recording me on YouTube. And I was like, oh, this? Oh. And they was like, boy, you nice with it, boy. You know what I'm saying?
But what made you say, other than you being in the hieroglyphics crew, what made you say, dude, I can't even speak Spanish? You know what I'm saying? What made you say, I want to understand the ancient text? Like, what was the thing?
A lot of lies. I can tell you the thickety thing was Zachariah Stitchin books. If you Stitchin, Zachariah Stitchin has a series of books written about just the Anunnaki and all kind of stuff that supposedly happened, and he was supposedly knew this stuff because he translated Sumerian text. But he would also go into ancient Egyptian and give these type of things. And so that was the final backbreaker, because, you know, we've been hieroglyphics since we first came out, but I didn't start studying Medu Neter to like 2009. Now, I must admit, I bought E.A. Wallace Budge dictionary on ancient Egyptian glyphs and like coming out of high school, but I never touched it. I was always intimidated by it. And that's something I realized as I got older. And so I was like, trick that stuff, tackle that book, you know what I'm saying? And I started doing that, and I got really good at it. You know,
Dang. That's amazing, man. Well, nah, man, I want to thank you for tapping in, man. Man, it was my pleasure, you know what I'm saying, to bring you into the little situation we got going. I definitely support the Big Head Science, man. Like I said, I saw it, but Brown kind of saw deeper into it, what it was. And then when I looked at it, I was like, dang, it on a consumer level, it got me. Like I was pulled in. But I will say this. As an MC, anybody that supports Big Head Science and purchases Casual's music, you will get more than just beats and somebody saying words that rhyme. You'll be like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I mean, straight up, I appreciate all the love, and even y'all, like I said earlier, having me on the show is big, because right now in these days and times, we even generating our own press. We making our own coverage. We shooting our own videos. So everything helps. And so salute to y'all for bringing me on the show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Chris Riggins just hit me. He just told me to tell you what up.
Chris Riggins, what's up? All right.
Tight. So nah, man, Mike, hit Casual up. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely got a conversation for him, and I'm sure Brown gonna reach out, and you know what I'm saying. And you know, we all family. Jeremy's in the mix. We all family. So no, man, I really appreciate you giving us the time to go into some to give us the meat and taters of the whole situation. You know.
Well, thank you. It's going to be a lot of ideas in the manual, Big Head Science, when I put it out there. I don't know when it's going to drop, but I'm just working on it now. I got a lot of things going. But people can follow me at Casual Rap God on IG. That's where I'm most active. It's Casual on Facebook, I guess Casual High Road, or Smash Rockwell, and at Smash Rockwell on Twitter. So, you know, tap in. I appreciate y'all out there. And let me hear some comments on my IG about what y'all thought about the interview. You know what I'm saying?
You're looking at Jeremy. You got anything you want to shout out? Anything you got going?
Same old, man. I'm not even a comic no more, man. I'm a painter slash piano player. I'm doing too many different things.
Hey, you should show him the painting.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, man. Yeah, Casual, man. You know, I remember when I was at the studio, I saw y'all had artwork around the place. I was looking at this. It's like Martin Luther King.
That's dope.
Mixed with Anubis.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. That you know that snake, you know that snake right there that protects the pharaoh on the front of that crown, you know her name?
So this?
Yeah.
No,
that's Wajet.
I know the snake. I know the snake.
That's Wajet. And so I did some work. I did some good work in my book, not to drag us out, but in closing, I'll tell you, I did some work in my book to show that everything that we know about Kundalini energy in Hindu tradition actually came from ancient Egypt. And that's one manifestation of the Kundalini serpent coming up out of the crown chakra, or actually the third eye chakra. But we wasn't talking about chakras, but in order to see how this was a precursor to the Hindu tradition. But I broke it down in my book is because it's one temple in ancient Egypt where they was talking about this, and y'all can find it in Magi Handbook for the Conscious Community. Not to be recklessly plugging my stuff, but you know what I mean.
You all good.
You earned it.
And Mike, let us know about your mixes, your latest mashups, man.
Ooh, I've been doing some mashups on my YouTube channel. It's just youtube.com/Relm. It's all there, movies, TV, it's like all kinds of stuff.
But the Lizzo Nirvana, man.
Yeah. I just did a Lizzo Nirvana. I'm kind of experimenting with like these different, mixes and mashups and stuff, which is kind of what I used to, done as a DJ for 30 years, but
nah, man, you ain't Casual, man. We gotta figure a mashup, man. We gotta we gotta let the bass set it off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let me know.
Good looking. Well, no, man, I want to thank you, Casual, for tapping in. Good looking out, Jeremy. Good looking out, Mike. You know what I'm saying? This is Splendid Radio on Pharcyde TV Live. Good looking out, you guys.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye, guys.